Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Dr. Sarah Goodroe, Doctor of Psychology, champion of nonlinear leadership, founder of Nonlinear Leadership, a career development agency passionate about empowering individuals and teams to find the confidence to stand up as leaders. Welcome to the show, Dr. Sarah.
Thank you so much. And that was an incredible introduction. And I'm very excited to get into this conversation and talk a little bit about nonlinear leadership and really just leadership in general, career transitions, all of that is right up my alley. So, yeah, let's get started.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Dr. Sarah. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll be talking about redefining leadership beyond titles. In this backdrop, we'll have our conversation. But before we come to this leadership part, let's understand about you, your journey, your background, so that people know a little bit more about who they are listening to.
Yeah, let me give you a just quick elevator pitch of my background. So, as you already mentioned, I am a doctor of psychology. So I've had about a decade long career so far in psychological research, neuroscientific research. I've done a lot of digging really into basic scientific questions around how we think, how we make decisions, specifically how we as humans navigate complex spaces, both physically and mentally. So that's really where my research was oriented around. A few years ago, however, I had a massive career transition. And I say massive because it felt massive to me at the time. And I know that it feels massive to other people going through a similar career transition. And that was that I really decided to leave academia and go into industry, as academics would say. You depart science and decide to go work for the man and enter into the industrial realm, which is a very scary experience for a lot of academics. And it was a very scary experience for me as well. And so I took the leap, I took a step, and I entered into the tech startup space. So I'm based in London, and I really, it's a complete and total departure from the academic realm into working for a tech startup. So my role is very different as a software engineer. So I entered the startup as a software engineer doing full stack development for them. And then over the course of my years at this company, grew in my leadership role and in the breadth of what it was that I was working on. And that experience gave me the opportunity to re-find my confidence, to re-find um, the ownership of my impact as both an academic and a very intellectually driven person, as well as someone who is now in an industrial space, an industrial sector, and taking a more applied approach to my skill set. So that was an experience that that I experienced firsthand. And I know countless, specifically academics, that are going through a very similar career transition and not knowing where to start and experiencing the same things that I did, which is significant imposter syndrome, significant drops in confidence, and oftentimes leaving academia or leaving their, current career and transitioning in a way that we at nonlinear leadership would kind of describe as a ungraceful departure from your career. And something that we firmly believe in is that it doesn't need to be ungraceful, and it can very much be a graceful departure. And what we're working towards is to champion individuals to own their impact. And the way that you do that is by understanding your unique selling proposition as an individual, as a human, and having the actionable steps to take to empower your next step into your new space, into a leadership role, whatever it is that is the next step in your journey, having the scaffolding in place to empower you to do that with confidence.
Right, right, Sarah. So you are a doctor of psychology. So you will be able to tell better. Earlier on, also people used to work. They used to have certain skills, and for whatever reasons, they used to be whatever they were with whatever skills they had, and go into another industry or another trade or whatever it was. People
Mhm.
used to do that. Even for Shakespeare, he was a quote bailiff, but he was a writer. So in way, he was doing that context switching, what we call in today's time.
Yeah.
In a very well manner. Everybody knows about it now. So I want to understand then that why it was so easy earlier on, and with so many options available, why is it difficult? Or is it less difficult, more difficult? You will be able to tell us in today's time.
It's so much more difficult, and it doesn't really make sense, does it? So, what you just said, that context switching, it's in the past, it's expected, it's normal. Your skills are transferable. We understand that a job can be taught, and oftentimes it's really the soft skills that you take from role to role to role, and it's the hard skills that you know, even if you're going to the same role at a different company, often the domain specific knowledge needs to be retaught. It's going to be different in every company that you go in. So the fact that in 2024, in a post COVID world where we've all had a work from home era at some point, and the way that industry works and the way that jobs and careers work has changed so much, yet we haven't really seen a mindset shift in what employers are looking for. Is kind of astounding, and it doesn't line up with where we are as a society and the way that we're working. And a statistic that I like to bring into this conversation is usually that a PwC study found that 63% of CEOs were unable to find talent that could adapt to the needs of the job. And that's a very interesting statistic to me. And the reason that I like to bring it up is that key word, adapt. So top leadership roles, recruiters, they are on paper and in questionnaires, if asked, looking for people who are adaptable. And the way that one becomes adaptable is actually by having a diverse set of life experiences, career experiences, work experiences. But when you look at what we'd call the linear leadership journey, where you enter at an entry level role and climb your way up to the C suite, your breadth of experience is actually very narrow. You might have had different roles, but your domain specific knowledge is narrow. And I would never say that that is a bad thing or that it's worse than a nonlinear leadership journey. But the conversation that we want to have is that adaptability and that breadth of life and career experience is an added value, and it's a unique selling point when you're bringing your skill set into a new role, into a new sector, into a new space. And it's what CEOs, it's what HR, it's what recruiters, it's what innovative companies claim to be looking for. But when you get down to the nitty gritty of what's advertised in the role, what is it usually? It's 5 years of domain specific experience for an entry level role that someone who is equally capable, equally able to be competent in that role and actually to thrive in that role will not have those qualifications, and it's limiting innovation, and it's limiting the value that could really be brought to a lot of organizations that are still operating their recruitment platforms in this antiquated way.
Right, right, Dr. Sara. Let's understand this whole issue a bit more, that perhaps it will throw light on. Is it because we had such a great or lot of time that we spent in this whole thing called specialization? And everyone wanted to be specialized, a division of labor and everything. And that is that where it was all for good, but then it also created almost like people who were only able to work in an assembly line, one work, that's what you know, beyond
Mhm.
that you would not know. And that is where it became difficult. It worked for some time, but today time seems to have changed. Is
Mm.
it back to the area of multiple skill sets? People are actually multi hyphenates, and we put them into one bracket. And now we are looking at people who are much more adaptable. That's the word we are using. Is it because of that? Is my understanding different? Should we understand that it is just the last round of specialization that we are talking about, that it will be much more of generalization? Earlier, even in your, even in people who are doctor, internal medicine, we had great internal physicians, internal medicine, and they used to take a holistic view. And now that holistic view is being taken care of by non, functional medicine and so
Mhm.
many other things. And not that specialization was bad, but somehow, it closed doors for a lot of other ways of looking at options, transferable skills. Help us understand this part of things, Dr. Sara.
I mean, I completely agree. So that specialization versus generalization piece is just a very interesting conversation to be had, and it can really take you down a rabbit hole. And I don't want to go down the rabbit hole too far, but I do want to bring some awareness to the audience, which is that the majority of CEOs are not specialists. So think about that. The majority of CEOs are actually generalists. And in order to kind of climb the ladder, whether you're taking a linear career journey or a non-linear career journey, is not actually about how specialized you can be and how technical you can be and how much domain specific knowledge you can have or you can demonstrate. It's about being a generalist and it's about being adaptable. However, what we often see is that in order for the opportunities to present themselves to you, in order to really have the chance to be a generalist, the traditional approach is that you pay your dues to the industry and you are a specialist for some period of time. So you put in the work, you do the technical roles, and you give a couple decades to the industry. And then at that point, you are given the opportunity to be in a leadership position where then it's actually all about generalism, and it's about being a generalist, and it's about being adaptable, and it's about having soft skills and advancing those soft skills and allowing everyone that you're working with to continue to do the technical work. So it's it's really a mindset shift, and it's a cultural shift. And this, the new generation is very different from, maybe the last two generations, in that I think that they just understand instinctively the generalist mindset a little bit more, and we don't see as many specialists, and that is really evidenced by the rate at which the younger generations are leaving roles, right? It's very uncommon that anyone really stays in the same role or even in the same company for more than a few years. It's just not the case anymore. I saw a statistic recently that on average, just the average person will change their career 5 to 7 times in their working life, and that number is increasing exponentially. So people are changing every 2 years, every 3 years at the max. And these transitions are not always linear. Oftentimes, they are lateral moves or they are complete departures. And the younger generation really has a different mindset in terms of kind of following their interest, and that's really giving them the ability to grow in their generalist skill set and their ability to adapt to different domains. And I anticipate that that's going to have a big impact on the way that work and industry looks like in the next 10, 20 years. But going ahead and sort of for those that are already in their career or in their mid-career, embracing the generalist mindset, even if you're still very much in a specialized role, will give you the starting point from which to grow in those skills so that when you're ready, you can step into a leadership space that's going to require you to have that generalist mindset.
Absolutely. So, where is the problem? In fact, it's an opportunity for a lot of people to transfer their skills, or is it a mental block? It is the mindset issue, especially for people who are already in existing roles and think that they are specialized, but they do not have transferable skills. How do they do that?
That's exactly it. It's a mindset, and it's a confidence problem, and it's the confidence, and it's a shame culture as well that lends itself to people feeling trapped in a role that perhaps they don't enjoy or that is not allowing them to grow and develop in their career in the way that they would like it to unfold. And so that's a conversation, and that's a concept that we are working to mitigate, and that is to build up confidence. And the way that you build up confidence is by providing resources for someone to grow and to see their value. Because it's very difficult to be confident and to feel confident if you feel worthless, if you don't feel that you can provide value in a space that you want to provide value in. And that's a key point as well, is that as a specialist, it's easier to feel that you can provide value in the space that you're currently specialized in, but it's more difficult to see the value of the transferable skills that you have, how they could apply to a new space, and how actually having that specialist knowledge prior to entering that space makes you even more valuable because you have a unique perspective to bring. So it's both a transferable skills issue, but really it's the confidence and it's the knowledge and it's the empowerment to know that you're valuable and to know the specific value that you bring into almost any space that you want to go in. Um, so it's both. It's a mindset and it's a skill set. But I would say that in almost every domain, 90% of the role can be taught. And 10% of it is actually domain specific knowledge, which again can also be taught. So um, owning your impact and owning your story and allowing yourself to grow in your confidence around the pieces of your story that actually make you unique is the first step to departing and transitioning into the next step of your career with confidence.
Right, Dr. Sarah. So, no new skills to learn. Maybe you need to put our specialization a bit into the backdrop and learn more about people, about culture, and get into the thick of things. How do people do that? Is it easy? Is it very difficult? Is there a process? How do you do that? At You are founder of non-linear leadership. Do you teach about all these things?
Yeah, we do, and we work on interventions, and we talk to a lot of academics and to a lot of people who are looking to transition into a new role that just simply don't know where to start and do not have the resources with which to take that empowered step. And just one, biggest piece of advice that I would give to anyone who is thinking about a career transition is to talk to more people. So, and that's something that, because there is a lot of shame and there's a lack of confidence in taking this step, in considering a big career transition, a lot of people tend to keep that information to themselves. And the reason why is that they're scared to fail. And they're, more importantly, scared of the embarrassment of someone knowing that they've failed. And it's a big mindset hurdle to get over, but having that support system in place is critical. And really importantly, talking to people who are going through the exact same thing is important, and boosting each other's confidence and really asking the difficult questions, asking someone that perhaps you don't know as well, to take an objective look at your skill set, at your resume, at your CV, and as if they don't know you at all, and to highlight the skills that they see that you have that could be transferred into another domain, because oftentimes it's difficult to see them ourselves. And even if you can see them, again, you lack the confidence to shout it from the rooftops that I'm amazing at this set of skills, because we just tend to have shame around that. So finding a community of like-minded individuals that are going through a similar life experience, um, is my biggest piece of advice, and something that you can do straight away.
Right. What about confidence? Means how do you bring confidence to them? Through some pill, through some injection? Is it like that? Is it that easy? How does that
I wish it
happen?
was that easy. Wouldn't that be excellent? Unfortunately, it's not that easy, but it's also not that hard either. So confidence, really, biologically, psychologically, is, it's it's pretty simple. So in order to feel confident, one has to decide to be confident. And it sounds a little bit like a chicken egg problem. But something that we say all the time is that the being confident is a choice, and it's a set of actions that reframe your mindset. And actually deciding to be a confident individual that owns your impact and understands the true value of your skill set is a choice. And that choice precedes the feeling of confidence, that internal, all encompassing understanding of your value. And once you have that and you live it out, it will then embolden your next step and allow you to see opportunities in a more realistic way, as in, what value does this opportunity provide to me, rather than when you're in a space where you have no confidence. It's much more difficult to see opportunities realistically and to see them as providing value to you, because you're in fight or flight mode and you just want to be given any opportunity. And because that's the case, we do see a lot of career transitioners taking a role that they later regret or that they don't feel valued in. And that has the downstream effect of stunting their second step. So what we're trying to do is embolden and empower that first step, because that first step is the key to unlocking an even more powerful second and third and fourth step. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a pill for you, but I do have a little mind trick that you can walk out of your house today and go, I am confident. And it's going to feel weird, but you're going to keep doing it. And eventually, it will feel a little bit less weird and you'll feel a little bit more confident. But more importantly, you'll be able to enter spaces with an understanding of your impact and an understanding of your value.
Absolutely. There is much to learn about these things from you, Dr. Sarah, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to learn more about you, from your uh, non-linear leadership. So, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Yes, please do connect with me. Send me a message on LinkedIn. You can find me at Dr. Sarah Goodroe. You can find Nonlinear Leadership at nonlinearleadership.co, so .co. And please reach out to us. We have a few communities on LinkedIn that are partnering up businesses with academics and businesses with career transitioners. So that's an open space where we give advice and the community is just building each other up. So would love to, see you all in that space and just keep it going. And we're going to build up confidence together and we're going to embolden these steps together.
Absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me.